Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing okay today. Today I wanted to talk about this, I think you'd call him a kind of like a scientist person that I kind of started to like, and then I've kind of done a bit more research into like some videos that he's done. And at first I thought he was a solid guy, but then I found out that he's not actually as solid as what he wants you to think. So I'm guessing you're wondering who this guy is. Well, his name is Jordan Peterson, and so I don't know him obviously personally, and I don't watch a lot of his stuff, but I'm pretty sure he's from Britain, but he does a lot of kind of debates and interviews both in England and in America, and he's known in America to be a bit of a provocateur. He basically talks out about anti-woke culture, and that is something that I talk about, but instead of the average kind of gay guy like me who says that they're all crazy, he is some form of a scientist, so he says it in like a clever scientist, intellectual kind of way. So, like I say, I don't know a lot of his stuff, but I did watch quite a few interviews where he's basically calling out, like I say, woke culture and teaching the kind of science that he does. I can't really remember, but the science side of him wasn't what I was interested in. I liked the fact that he was talking out about woke culture. And something else that I really liked about him was that he always kept himself really calm. Because sometimes I'm in the mood to see kind of shouty debates, and then sometimes that's like not what I'm into at all. So I used to watch him whenever I used to want to hear people do like a calm debate. So I did like him, and if I ever wanted to learn anything about his particular branch of science, I will obviously listen to him for that regards. But there was something about him that I couldn't put my finger on, even though I liked that he was talking out about woke culture. He just seemed a bit close-minded to me. I'm not saying that I knew what he really was like, but I just had kind of a mental and in heart feeling that he wasn't what he turned out to be. And then it turns out that I was right. I've seen videos where basically talks about everything, almost everything that conservatives in America and like our version of conservatives kind of talk about, but he phrases it in a different way and he says it more calmly, and he'll use his reasonings in a more scientific way. So because he's using science and facts and logic, it doesn't seem as close-minded, which is very scary to me, because I kind of say that it's easy to just say to a conservative, the traditional right-wing conservative, oh, you're just old-fashioned and crazy and you don't really know the world, where Jordan Peterson knows the world and he talks about it a lot, and he knows what he's doing, and I think it can be a bit dangerous unless you're wanting to learn about science. So I'm going to take the science out of it, and I'm just going to talk about what my issues were. So when it comes to quote unquote trans issues, but isn't really trans issues, it's more like SJW, woke culture that talks about gender and pronouns. So I think the average person wouldn't mind calling someone off their preferred pronoun if there was no rules against, going to jail or getting fines or having some repercussions. And also, if they weren't called some kind of bigot, that if it was just something like I use they and them pronouns because of X, Y, and Z reasons, and I would prefer that you use them or try your best. And if they left it at that, I personally, and I've spoke to quite a few people that have said the same thing, that they would not have a problem if it was left at that. And basically, I saw him on a video where a trans person or someone who identified as a fake trans, they were trans or fake trans, just basically one or the other. And they said to him, if I came up to you and said I used they and them pronouns and there wasn't any repercussions, any negativeness, and I didn't call you homophobic or transphobic, would you use them pronouns? And he just refused, which to me is a bit sus. So that's what I had a problem with. Well, one of them at least. Like I say, it's bad whenever they misconstrued science or they call you an ist or a phobe for anything. But they asked them very nicely, you know, we use they and them pronouns if there was no rules or repercussions, and I won't call you transphobic or homophobic. You know, can you just give me human decency? And he said no. So that was the first red flag. And then I saw someone got a video clip of him basically saying that he doesn't agree with kind of gay marriage and also gays adopting kids, because with his research he's shown that the kids either aren't looked after right or they don't have the same amount of love or flexibility with sexes and femininity and masculinity traits, that it was just not right. And that was a huge red flag for me, because I'm like, you dick. Like, he literally, and then after that, I then clicked and thought, he is a right-wing conservative in disguise. And, you know, that kind of put me off him. So, this is personally nothing that I find offensive with this last point, but something that I've always felt was a bit shady about Jordan Peterson was that he quite clearly believes in God, but he doesn't like to call himself religious or likes to fully admit that he believes in God. Because he's a scientist, he knows that there is no 100% like scientific evidence for a physical God that people, you know, proclaim there is. Like, there just isn't. And because he is in the field of science, he knows that if he was to say that he is religious or a believer in God, people would either attack him or they would kind of suss out even quicker that he is the typical conservative. Because every time when he's asked, do you believe in God, he always says some weird definition that isn't even close to God, or he changes the subject. Well, he doesn't really change the subject, but he like frames it in a completely different way. So he just basically tries to avoid saying I'm religious or I'm a full believer in God, even though he clearly is. So I just wanted to make a video to express my annoyance with Jordan Peterson and how I feel like he lies to people. That I just feel like I need to put my voice out there when it comes to him, because he can make people trust him and think that he knows things when he doesn't. Well, that's it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video's content. If you have felt a similar way about Jordan Peterson, or if you completely disagree with me, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. This channel is all about talking, saying your views in a great manner. That's not like I'm always right and you're always wrong. So down below, I'll also eventually, probably tomorrow or the next day, link my socials down below in the description. If you really liked it, give it a like, thumbs up, and subscribe to this channel, and I love you guys.